Hey, Xiaomi here. So as you can tell, I'm going to be filming the Authortube Newbie Tag. Now, previously I did film the BookTube Newbie Tag, but since I'm trying to change my channel and like make it more me as an individual and everything I do on a daily basis, I think the Authortube Newbie Tag really does fit me a lot more. And also I've started writing and I just want to go into different adventures with my channel and also my life in general. So I will be linking the creators down below, and also I might be writing the questions. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Also, I have the fan on just because it's a little bit hot, so bear with me on that a little bit. But the first question says, how did you find out about Authortube? I found out about Authortube through Gingery's Laney's channel. She was one that I really did love to watch, and then all of a sudden she started writing her own stories, and this is where I got a little bit into Authortube, but I didn't fully immerse into it until January of this year. I got recommended Kate Kavanagh's video, and ever since I've just fallen into the black hole of what was Authortube. Like, this is where I found By the Brook, this is where I found Natalia Lee, and I found so many other great Authortube videos, and I was like, you know what, this is something that I really want to be a part of. But I didn't think about it until roughly around March, can I say, because March was when I started outlining and drafting and just thinking about my world and also Project Night Creatures in general. Okay, so for question number 2 says, what genres do you write in? As of right now, fantasy. It's what I read the most and it's what I love to create. I do have something in the back of my mind which is a contemporary, but it's a novel in verse. We'll see if I eventually get there, just because I don't know if I can write contemporary, just because I don't know, like there's a lot of things that go into contemporary for me to actually like delve into, and I'm not about that life. I just like to create fantasy stories, create creatures and just stuff like that. That's something that really does interest me a lot more. So we'll see, maybe one of these days I might, you know, just dish out that novel in verse. It's something that I've always had in the back of my mind because I do love to write poetry, and it's something that I think it would be challenging to actually write a story in that way. You know, the Poet X is one of my favorite novel in verses stories, so you know, you never know. For question number 3 says, what is your preferred writing tense, POV, and category style? As of right now, my preferred writing tense is, I think, past tense, if I'm not mistaken. That's the one that I've been using the most. POV is definitely third person perspective, mostly omniscient, just because I think a story is told better that way, just in my opinion, or at least that's the way I can better tell a story. And the category that I want to classify my story as is definitely new adult, because I think it has that vibe to it. No way in hell is it young adult. I don't have anything against young adult. I read a lot of young adult. I just think that new adult can be such a great category if it's actually expanded a lot more on, just because, you know, YA should be YA, and you know, new adult is those people who are roughly coming out of YA and they want to venture into something different. So I think that, you know, if they capitalize on that, it would be just such an amazing category to actually write in. Question number 4 says, are you a plotter, panster, or planster? I am definitely a plotter. I need to outline my story. I need to know what I'm speaking about in order for me to create a story. I can't be a panster, you know, I can't just out of nowhere make a story, because it's sometimes when I have an outline I'm like, wait, what should I write right now? But like, I'm definitely a plotter. I need to know what I'm going to be speaking about. I need to know who are my characters. As of right now, I'm struggling with one character because I don't know why. I have an idea of this character, but I don't know the name of this character as of right now. He's the only character that I have not named, and that for me is really odd. I just want to give this character a fitting name, and also like create this character the way that I actually visualize the character without actually visualizing the character. I understand myself, you know, but we're gonna get to that. But definitely that's what I am. I need to know what I'm gonna write about in order to actually create a story. For question number 5 says, are you a self-published, published, or yet to be published? I am neither of those three. I would eventually love to be a hybrid author. I don't mind being self-published. That's something that's more in the category that I want to, you know, aim for, just because it's new adult and it's fantasy, and I don't think there are many books that could be picked up in that way. I don't know, I'm just, you know, speaking my mind here, but you never know. I wouldn't mind being published, and eventually, if everything goes right, hopefully for next year, you know, fingers crossed that I actually get a little bit more that I want to get into, honestly. And I wouldn't mind either one. For question number 6, I'm going to read the second question because I think that one revolves more around what I am. It says, if you're not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? Honestly, anybody who's interested in Project Night Creatures, because I'm not going to be picky. Honestly, if I would have to choose, maybe Tor Books, just because that's where the Witchland series is at, and I really do love the Witchland series, but I'm not picky. If they want my story, hell yeah. Question number 7 says, what Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? As of right now, you can find Authortube related videos on my channel. I have writing vlogs. I have, a little bit of a glimpse into what is Project Night Creatures and how I started outlining and what kind of outline or story map do I use to actually plot out Project Night Creatures. And you can also expect like little tips and tricks about me. Now, I am not an expert. This is something that I'm always going to disclaim in these videos, but I think that if something works for me and I live by that and I swear by it, then yeah, I'm gonna do a video to actually like help you with these little tips and tricks. Again, I'm not gonna say that I'm an expert because I'm not, but if these are things that have worked for me, then I want to shed light to it and just make a video about it, and hopefully other people learn from that, because I think we can all learn from one another. I don't think that necessarily you have to have an expertise in whatever. I mean, it's perfect if you have an expertise on something, but like I can learn from somebody that understands the rope of something and how to build that aspect of it, and I wouldn't mind for another person to share that. We can all learn from one another. So yeah, as of right now, that's what you can find on my channel. I already have like roughly maybe 2 or 3 videos for each one of those categories, but like my tips and tricks, I just have one as of right now. I'm still plotting out others that I would like to eventually write about, but yeah, that's what you can find, and maybe other videos that you can expect from me. And also definitely like challenge videos, maybe 12-hour write-a-thons. I'm not gonna do a 24-hour write-a-thon just because your girl can't handle that, but there's a lot of things that I can come up with, a lot of things that eventually will go into my channel. Question number 8 says, when did you start writing? I can say that I always loved to read, and eventually like around high school level when I started writing in general. So I can say that I started writing in that area, but I started writing a lot more in university just because I had creative writing with my bachelor's degree, and that's where I started writing a lot more. I'm going to tie this other question that I wanted to say with the other one because they kind of fall with one another. For question number 9 says, what was the first story you ever wrote? This is again in the university. I remember the first story that I ever wrote about was a story that I was obsessed with. You don't know anything about Rose Red? Oh my god, I was obsessed with Ellen Rimbauer's diaries and like the mansion that continued to grow over the years. That was something that I was really, really obsessed with, and I would look up diaries and information. I would look up so many things on that. I even saw the movie like a gazillion times, I kid you not. And one day I wrote like a short story about a mansion that had some kind of eerie aspect to it, and like everybody around me really did enjoy the story, and they were like, read it out loud, read it out loud. And I was so nervous that I was like, no, I'm not gonna read it out loud. But I was just so content that my group, the people in my group, really enjoyed the story. So that's where I got a little bit more into writing. And then something else happened. I wrote a story for a professor. She didn't like my story because, as she stated, and I'm paraphrasing, she didn't enjoy my story because it was dark and she was reading about something that was eerie and creepy, and she didn't want to read about dark witches and vampires and whatnot. And I'm like, if you give us a free topic on what to write about, then expect that not everybody's gonna write about unicorns and fairies and pumpkins and all those other little nice little things that you can expect. Not everybody's gonna write about sunshines and sprinkles. Other people can write about other things, and I think that was the last time I ever wrote any kind of story per se until this year. Question number 10 says, what authors have inspired your writing the most? Definitely every single author that I've read about has in some way, shape, or form inspired me to write my own story. I mean, I can say Nikki Pau Preto with The Crown of Feathers, Lee Bardugo definitely with Six of Crows, with the one that I mentioned recently, Susan Denard with the Witchland series. And there are so many, Zoraida Cordova with the Brooklyn Brujas series. There are so many authors in fantasy. Of course, Mistborn, a story that I freaking loved so much. Or also Sorcery of Thorns. I can say that I've been influenced by a lot of authors that I really enjoy and respect and hope to one day meet. So yeah, I can say that I've taken a lot of inspiration from all these different authors. Definitely V.E. Schwab, This Savage Song, amazing stories that I really do enjoy. So yeah, I can say that I take a lot of inspiration from a lot of them. For question 11 says, do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you can find the time? As of right now, whenever I feel inspiration to actually write, I'm not picky with anything. When I start working, obviously that's basically, you know, whenever I can find the time. But as of right now, just whenever I feel like it. I do have writing sessions where if somebody's doing, you know, a live stream and I want to participate in it, then I'll schedule that time for writing. But right now I'm not really that picky. Question number 12 says, do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? Or where do you write in general? I write right here in general. Right now I'm starting to write in the living room, but this is where most of the story has taken shape and has been created in my room. I use a computer. Like, I always have my Dell with me. That's the one that I use. I do every now and then, whenever I don't feel like turning on the computer, I will write in this notebook. This is where I have the majority of Project Night Creatures, and have written like 3 or 4 chapters on that one, I'm not gonna deny it, and then I pass it onto the computer. I've also, you know, whenever I'm out and about and I've felt the inspiration, or when I'm just waking up and I don't want to stand up to turn on the computer, I have roughly like around 2 or 3 chapters in my phone in the notepad section. I do have 3 chapters of the novella that I want to write based on Project Night Creatures. So yeah, those are the places where I roughly switch between, but definitely a computer. I can't for the life of me like write everything out. Like, I'll quit in like 2 seconds, honestly. For question 13 says, what are you most looking forward to now that you're a part of Authortube? Definitely connecting with a lot of people. That's something that I'm always interested in. You know, other people that have written a lot more stories than I have. Project Night Creatures is the first story I've ever written. But yeah, I would definitely say the connection between Authortubers and, you know, just getting to know people a little bit more, and eventually sharing my story with them if they want to read it, you know, and getting some feedback. It's always something that I would love to receive, just feedback about my story, and if they actually enjoy it, if it's something that's worth me continuing to write. Well, that's it for the Authortube Newbie Tag. I will be linking down below like what is Project Night Creatures, the writing vlogs that I have created on Project Night Creatures. Just if you want to know a little bit more about what I'm writing, you can definitely check those videos out, and, you know, tell me if you enjoy my story. It's something that I would really love to actually hear from other people. And yeah, get excited. I'm excited to do this. So that's it for this video. All my links will be down below as to where to find me, social media and whatnot. I am mostly active on Bookstagram, so that's where you're gonna find me the most. But yeah, this is it for this video. I hope that you have a wonderful day and or night, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.